I absolutely love stamp art. It's such a joy-filled process that lets you tap into your inner child and use your imagination to create happy, fun artwork. Every time I create in this style, I just feel like a kid again. Like someone dumped a bunch of blocks and said, "Hey, see what you can make with this. Your only rule is to just have fun." The best part, you don't need to be an expert to create awesome artwork. This art style is like minimum drawing skills required, but you get maximum creativity out of it. It's the perfect art style for every level of artist. From beginners who want to learn foundational drawing skills to more experienced artists who might be looking to infuse a little play into their art practice. In this video, I'm really excited to invite you into my studio as I share my stamp art making process with you. By the end of this video, I hope you'll feel inspired to give it a try yourself. When I first started making stamp art about a year ago, I instantly fell in love. The day I learned how to do it, I think I cranked out like 5 pieces in just 2 to 3 hours. And trust me, that is not a testament to my art skills. It's just a true reflection of how easy and approachable this art style really is. The first stamp brush I created was this simple retro flower doodle. I stamped it a few times and thought, oh my god, this is so fun. Then, just 20 minutes later, I ended up with this adorable rainbow check print. That's honestly still one of my favorite pieces to this day. It just goes to show you that making art doesn't have to be complicated or complex to be really satisfying, look good, and bring you lots of joy. I'm always amazed at the kind of art you can create with such simple, basic shapes. Like this citrus piece. It was made with just a few taps of my Apple Pencil. Or these ice cream cones. Who would have thought that a few triangles with circles stacked on top of them could bring so much joy? It just goes to show that even little shapes can have a big impact. With every piece I created, I grew more and more confident and began experimenting with more complex compositions. One thing that I always struggled with though was simplifying my subjects. Not just in stamp art, but like in art in general. Especially when there was a lot going on in a scene or a subject. I'd get really overwhelmed by all the details, and that stress would show up in my art. But when I started doing stamp art, it taught me to break things down into simple, bite-sized building blocks. If you're someone who struggles to simplify and stylize your art, I highly recommend giving stamp art a try. Not only has it helped me discover my style, but it's also melted away that stressful panic that sets in when you just can't figure out how to draw something. And it replaces it with just pure happiness and joy. Stamp art pushes my creativity in ways that drawing doesn't always. It inspires me to think outside of the box and tap into my imagination. For example, I drew this cute jug of flowers with like these little bluebell blooms dangling, hanging. And then one day while I was like playing with my stamps, just in Procreate had my stamps, it hit me that this little bluebell shape would make the perfect skirt or dress for like a forest fairy or a garden fairy. And before I knew it, this little fairy existed. She had wings, she had an entire outfit, and I'd illustrated a whole little world of her own. That's the magic of stamp art. It sparks unexpected, off-the-wall ideas that I wouldn't have come up with otherwise. By now, I hope you can see the awesome benefits this art style can bring to your creative practice. Alright, let's dive into a demo where I'll share more of my process with you, plus a few tips and tricks to make your art making process even more fun. So in stamp art, everything kind of starts with a basic shape, like this simple almond shape. It's not very impressive on its own, but when stamped a few more times, duplicated, and rotated, it becomes a flower. Add a big circle with lots of smaller circles, and you've got a sunflower. That same basic almond shape could also be a cute little fish. 2 more little almonds for a tail, and 1 for a little fin. Oh, and here's a little tip. If you tap and hold the eraser tool, it will turn the brush you were just stamping with into an eraser. And then you can erase away parts of the shape that you don't need. You can do the same thing for the fish's eye. If you tap a big circle and then tap and hold the eraser tool, That'll turn your eraser into the same circle you were just stamping with, and you can erase out the center of his eye. We'll do some tap, tap, tap to get some little bubbles. And then we have a cute little fish. One of my favorite things about stamp art, though, is the way that colors interact with each other. Stamp art to me kind of feels like if risograph printing and carving stamps had a little digital baby. So here's another little tip. Be sure to set all your layers to multiply so you can get like a blend mode CMYK effect going on. You'll be amazed with the rainbow of colors you can get with just using cyan, magenta, and yellow. When I first started making stamp art, I didn't have an Apple Pencil or an iPad that supported Procreate's hover feature. I also didn't have that pinch to size your brush up and down. And I did not have an Apple Pencil Pro, so I wasn't able to use the roll feature. I was basically just flying blind, but I didn't care, and that definitely didn't stop me from falling in love with this art style. All the art that I've shown you here, I made without having those features. And you shouldn't let it stop you if this art style is something you want to try. And don't be afraid to add some details by drawing with a brush. There are no rules in art, so stamp art doesn't have to be all stamps. You can mix in brush details, you can use your painting brushes. Honestly, it's whatever you want because this is your art. Well, that's all the tips I have today. I hope this video inspired you to pick up your iPad and make some stamp art. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I can't wait to see what you create. If you make something and post it, be sure to tag me on Instagram at SamAkerArtMaker because I would love to see where stamp art and your imagination takes you. If you want to learn how to make a simple stamp brush in Procreate, check out this video right up here, where I walk you through the step-by-step process for creating a very simple stamp brush. And if you'd like to see a more in-depth tutorial style video from me about stamp art, let me know in the comments below. I'd really like to hear from you. Alright, I hope you found this video inspiring. Until next time!